Hey, so welcome back. We had a little bit of a gap, like 1 week gap, so it might be kind of like you've got to sort of get back into this. So this is week 4 of the Smart Strength, and we're doing all this in terms of standing poses during this second series on the Smart Strength, and we're going to have one more session next week, which will conclude this series. So finding your happy place in terms of you're going to be coming up onto the balls of your feet in a moment. So just deciding whether hip distance or slightly wider feels sort of safer and more supportive for you. And if you don't know, you're just going to play around with that really. So we're going to be coming onto the balls of our feet now. Let's go for that. And just see. So think more of just raising your heels a wee way. I think is probably easier than thinking of coming onto the balls of your feet or even coming onto your toes. So we're there, and you'll be probably rocking around a bit, and you'll be moving between big toe, little toe, and forward and back a little bit. But just stay where you feel you can kind of be as not still necessarily. There's going to be some movement, but as secure as possible. And then just give your weight to your little toes a little bit more. So that will make you a bit more unstable because you'll be losing the weight from your big toe. So a little bit more onto the little toe side. And then, yeah, just keep adjusting as much as you need to. And then come onto your big toes. So that means you're rolling in a little bit before you were rolling out. So that's usually a little bit easier for most people because the big toe is a bit more of a stabilizing joint than the little toe. And then press down through your big toe and your little toe. So feel you get more breadth through across the ball of the foot, maybe. And then one more thing. We're going to stay up for a little while though, if you can. You can always come up and down, you know that. Okay, so now we're going to feel like we're pushing the legs away from each other. So it's going to start to engage a little bit higher up in the body maybe. And that might feel more straightforward, able to stick at your position. Or it might feel like you're not quite sure where you're going with that. Okay, and then just take your arms up. So it's more like a Y shape with the arms. So we've got the arms quite away from each other rather than, So we're still on the balls of our feet. If we can, heels slightly raised. Bend your knees a little bit. And so the weight goes more down into the feet. That might be easier or might be more difficult. See if my knees are rolling a little bit because my feet are rolling a bit, that's fine. Try and breathe, would that be nice? Because it's a long time to be up here if you're not breathing. Okay. You stay where you are. I'm just going to need to come a little bit further forward so I can do this. Okay, so we're going to come into a twist. So take your arms down to shoulder level and then take the arms over to one side. So a little bit of a twist. So my back arm allows also the back hip to go with me. So you're not holding your hips in position. There's still a little bit of a bend in your knee, but not too much. Bring that arm back to the front. Take your arms back into that Y shape. Yeah, still got bent knees. Bringing the arms down to shoulder level. And again, opposite side, this time taking one arm forward, one arm behind you to get into a twist. Like the back arm and back hip. Go back. Okay, and then bring that forward. Take the arms up, doing really well. Keep the knees slightly bent. And repeat repeat again on the first side. So up to shoulder level and do a little bit of twist, taking one arm behind you. Both knees slightly bent, doing really well. Okay, coming into neutral, arms up for a moment. And then second side, arms at shoulder level, and then twist to one side. Keep breathing. Hold on. Okay, and back into neutral. Take your arms up again. You still feel your feet just about. Okay, we're going to come down. So bringing the arms down and bringing the heels down and bend a little bit more through the knees. And then just come on to your feet. Just see how they are. So you'll be kind of just trying to make sense of where you are and can you keep your balance. I think that's probably what most people are trying to do. Of course, you didn't know how long you're going to be there. I had a bit of an idea. Now we've come down and have more weight through the feet, more connection to the ground, hopefully. We might feel the pelvis is released a little bit and even the shoulders have released down, but don't worry if you don't feel any of those. We're going to do what we've done last time as well. We're going to walk on our heels. So this time, the only reason I'm coming here is I'm going to come onto my heels and I'm going to walk backwards along my mat. So you may not have a mat, but just walking backwards, let your arms be free. Once you got to the back, you can walk forward again. And then you can go to one side. So I'm going to come towards you a little bit. And then go back in the other direction. And we're going to go backwards again, walking backwards, still on the heels if you can. And you get to your mat, come forward. Go in one direction to your side. And then back. Okay, and then feet down. Oh, that's nice. So that might give more sensation to the tops of your feet, because we don't kind of stretch there very often. But also you might feel a little bit more length down the back of your legs, but you might just feel like burning in your calves, because that was quite a long time. Okay, so let me just show you where we're going. So I think I've got a bit more room this side. So I'm going to have my hands coming into the chest. I'm going to take one knee up, so the knee is slightly above the hip, and then I'm going to step back just onto my toes, front knees bent. Arms then come into cactus arms, so hands up position. And just make sure that you don't kind of start sticking out the front of your rib cage. Just slightly bring that in to give you sense of containment. And then you're going to hop forward with your back on your back with your back toes, and then take the toes off of the floor, keeping the front knee bent. Just going to pause there again, bring in the lower ribs front. Then you take your toes down, let your arms relax down by your side, swinging, swinging, swinging. And then you step forward, bring the same knee back up above hip height. And come back onto 2 feet. Release the hands, just have a shake out for fingers and arms and shoulders to relax for a moment. And second side, so most of you seem to be doing that with me, so that I could see. So hands together, again, prayer position. Opposite knee comes up above hip height. And then gently stepping back, and you can have your front knee bent as you go back. So you're already in that kind of forward position from the hips. Take the arms out into hands up position, cactus arms, making sure you're not sticking out through the front of the ribs. Just bring those in a little bit if you need to. Step the back foot forward a short distance, and then take the back foot off the ground, keeping the front knee bent, because most people that's more stable. Okay, again. Tuck in slightly through the rib cage, elbows back, chin parallel to, well, it's not quite parallel to the ground, but think more at the back of the neck. Long, well done. Get back to the foot back, return, back foot returning to the ground. Release the arms, let them swing, and then step forward, bringing the knee up, hands into the center. Back onto 2 feet, have a shake out. Okay, so we'll repeat that one more time, just so you kind of feel like you know what you're doing, maybe a little bit more the second time. So I've got my, starting with my feet at least hip distance apart, so I'm not going to come onto a tightrope when I step back. Hands are together in prayer position, partly a reminder to create a little bit of space here between the base of the rib cage and the sort of collarbone, more around the sternum area. And then from there, from that stable position, lift the first knee up to just above the hip, step back, front leg is bent, hinging forward already. More weight goes through that front leg, but push away into the floor, open arms out into cactus arms, making sure you're not sticking your rib cage out too much at the base. Step forward a wee way and then take the back foot off the ground. Making sure you're not sticking your ribs out. Front knee is bent. Pause here for a second, back of the neck long. Done. Well done. Okay, and back foot to the ground. Release the arms, let them swing and sway a little bit forward and back. And then bring that knee forward, hands back into prayer position for a second. Back onto 2 feet, have a shake out, get your feet in the right position before you go on to side 2. Hands then back together. Opposite knee comes up above hip height. That foot goes behind you as your front leg bends. Yeah, bending at the knee. Start already slightly bending forward at the hip. Arms into cactus arms, making sure you got that stability at the base of the rib cage. Up forward, then take the foot off the floor. Okay. Hold. 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 Done. Bend the front knees, get the back toes of the back foot down. Release the arms, let them sway. And step forward, bring the knee up first before you come onto 2 legs. Have a shake out, arms, legs, just get yourself reorientated if you like. Okay, so we're going to take our feet wider, so wider than shoulder distance. Going to take the arms out to the side for a moment, just to give a little bit of openness through the chest, and then we're going to go back to where we were with cactus arms. Slightly bend the knees, really just a slight knee bend, just so you protect your lower back a wee bit. And then we're just bringing the elbows and the lower arms and the hands together, yeah, like a book closing. And then we're opening. So just being interested how that feels when you open and how that feels when you bring the hands together. So what's happening here in the shoulders and the upper back, and then we open out, what happens at the front of the chest, sides of the collarbones, pecs. So just moving it between for a moment. Okay. So you're looking for kind of a sense of opening the front body in cactus, and then rounding in the back body, getting length through the back, upper back, relaxing as you bring the arms together. Okay, so from here, arms more into kind of a cross, so your arms are out to the side in a sort of copying what the legs are doing. Then we're going to reach up with one arm, and we're going to take the opposite heel off the ground, so we're kind of reaching, and let the other arm, yes, it, let the other arm kind of relax a little bit, and then cross over, so you can bring the elbow down of the relaxed arm as you reach and come onto the toes of the opposite foot. So just finding that way of lengthening and returning and lengthening across the diagonal. So we don't kind of have those stretches very often, not all the way across. We might be reaching for something, get a little bit of a stretch across the abdominals. Okay, a couple more each side, really feeling that extension across the body. And then release the arms and release the shoulders again, shake out. Okay, so I've got my feet back to kind of a happy distance, so for me that's generally hip distance. And I'm going to cross one leg in front of the other. And I am initially going to get the whole of that front foot down. I'm going to just try a little bit pulsing, so I'm tensing one thigh against the other, and just see if that's okay in your lower back, and then slightly releasing, and then pushing the thighs against each other, and then slightly releasing, pushing the legs slightly against each other, releasing. Okay, and then just come up, so the same with that front leg, rather than having the heel down, take the heel away from the floor for a moment. So you're just on your toes. And then then just bend at the knee a little bit. Let's see. So I've got the front legs crossed, I'm on the front leg, I'm on the toes, and then I'm just sitting back. Sitting back, so I'm bending at the pelvis. Bending at the pelvis. So even when I'm coming forward, my thighs are still getting that sort of contact. But I'm not thinking about pressing them against each other. It's just kind of happening naturally because I'm bending at the knee. To sit back. Okay, and then undo the legs. So second side, so cross the opposite leg over, and initially get both feet on the ground, and then this sort of creating a resistance, thigh on thigh, and then relaxing a little bit. Thighs pushing against each other, and then relaxing, unless it's nasty on the lower back. Again, just repeating that kind of containment, that coming into center. So a little bit lot going on around the hips and the pelvis and the glutes as well. To get your glutes slightly working, if not completely working, when you do that squeeze through the thighs. And then come onto the front, just onto the toes of the front foot. So your heels just raised, and then just sitting back. Standing a little bit more, and then sitting down. And getting back onto two legs. Okay, so playtime. So see how we go. So this is the eagle legs bit first before we do the eagle arms. So we've been doing that over previous weeks. So you may have kind of got used to what works for you. So I'm trying to keep breaking it down more and more and trying to do more stability before we kind of move on to this, and a bit of balance to get yourself sorted. So I'm going to cross one thigh over the other, and initially, like we were before, just have the toes on the floor. Bring your hands into prayer position. And just sitting down. Now just see if you can just take the toes off the floor. Keep putting them back, keep putting them back. Just see if you then can keep the toes off the floor for a short time. Sitting back, wobbling as much as you need to. Try with your arms out, see if that's easier. So when I'm in the plane, so it means I will be moving side to side. It might be you will even prefer to use a wall. Walls are really good. Then you can decide when you want to take the arms away if you need to, if you're using the wall. So you can always take your toes down, without falling, hopefully here too much. Okay, well done. Arms up, stand up, get back onto two legs. Just a little bit of a shake out, a bit of a wriggle. Breath back. Okay, so second side. So crossing the legs over, sitting back, prayer hands, and then see at some point whether you can play around with taking the toes off the floor of that top leg. It might be you can, maybe you don't want to, which is fine. You see how it is with the arms out. Might be easier, might be more difficult, might be easier on the second leg, might be more difficult. Toes are down now, they're up. Okay, so you can keep playing with that. So there is a little bit of thigh on thigh work going. Done. And then unravel, come onto two legs. I think it was a bit longer. It must mean I was trying harder. Okay. Make sure your back's okay. Okay, so we can leave the legs out for a moment. Legs can just be passive. Just what they need to do to recover. So we're taking the arms out now. I've got my palms facing towards the ceiling, towards the sky, the night sky. Okay, I'm going to bring one arm, it doesn't matter, just bring one arm on top of the other arm. So they're crossing. Yeah. Bend the elbows, and initially just see what it's like to bring the back of the hands together. Yeah. So the back of the hands are touching here. Now, another option is to bring more the palms facing each other. So really that's kind of like for me, my fingers come to the opposite palm. And it can be done either way. Yeah, that way or that way. But it feels like a wraparound kind of position. And just see if that feels okay and safe for shoulders, upper back. We're closing in here. Okay, so you might be just have the back of the hands together, or you might have the fingers on the palm, depending how long your arms are to some extent and the space you feel you've got there. Okay, let's unravel and just shake out. Shoulder movements to loosen around the neck, jaw. All right, okay. So taking the arms out, I said it didn't matter which one you put on top. So just go for, if you're not sure, just go for automatically and then stop it, and it's the other way. Okay, and then bend at the elbows, back of the hands together. Yeah, back of the hands together, see how that feels. And then if you want to, fingers and palms together, if that works with your arms. So there is a little bit of, again, without overdoing it, there is a little bit of arm pushing against arm and certainly hand pushing against hand. Okay, and unravel delicately and have a little bit of movement for the arms again and the legs. Okay, so you may choose just to do the legs. You may choose just to do the arms, or you may have a play at doing both for the kind of full eagle pose. So I'm going to, again, some people prefer starting with arms, some people prefer starting with legs. So see how it goes. You might already know from previous times, but maybe if you start with the hands together initially, and we do the legs first. So we're going to cross the legs and just have the toes initially touching, and then you can choose whether you take the toes off the floor, but maybe keep them down. And then take your arm, doesn't matter which arm, take your arms in front of you and do the crossover and do either the back of the hands or fingers on palms. And then, once you feel stable, then maybe taking toes off the ground for a moment. You can always put the toes back, and just put the toes back. Put the arms a little bit further forward if you can, away from the body. Undo the arms, palms together for a second. Undo the legs, back to position. A little bit of shake out. Okay, let's try the other side. So opposite, palms together, prayer position. Cross the legs over, just keeping on the toes, sitting back. Okay, and then do your arms, know what's automatic, and then do the opposite. Bend the elbows, back of the hands or front of the hands and fingers. Once you're stable, decide then if you're going to take the toes off the floor. It's demanding a lot of us here. Yeah, balance, bringing yourselves to center. Done, done, done. Okay. And toes down, unravel the arms, unravel the legs. Yay, great, well done. Okay, let's do a little bit of a flow to come out of that. Tightness and held-inness. Okay, so we are going to do the following. We're going to come to the front of our mat. We're going to do that we did before, bring the hands together. We're going to choose, we just think, so whichever leg is facing your device, facing me, facing the screen, pick that knee up first. So the knee comes up as before, just above hip height. We step back as we did before, front knee bend, but this time swivel around to bring the heel down. Yeah, the heel's down. So we can then come into warrior. Yeah, so the front knee's bent, arms are at shoulder level. We've landed where we've landed. If we feel like we need to take the front foot forward a bit more, then we do. We just hit edge with that. So the knee's broadly above the ankle. Okay, so from here, we're going to take the back arm to the front. And then we're going to have each, so the palms face each other now. So the arm facing me, the front arm, yes, so whichever's the back leg, it's going to be the same arm. We're going to pull that back like a, as if we're pulling a bow, and we're going to straighten the front leg. A little bit of a push through the front arm and a pull through the back arm. And then we bend the knee, relax the arms, and come back into warrior two. Okay, I'll make it slightly more simple. So from here, palms towards me, back arm to front arm. As you straighten the leg, pull the bow, front arm goes forward, back arm goes back. Relax the arms, relax the knee, and forward again. Okay, we've got this. So palms towards me, back arm to front arm, pull the bow, straighten the front leg. Relax the arms back into warrior. One more repeat. So palms towards me, back arm to front arm, pull the bow, straighten the front leg. Relax the arms, come back into warrior. Okay, we're going to try and step forward from here. So come onto the ball of your back foot, let your arms come by your side, that would be easier. And then rock with your hands forward, come back to bring your knee up. And back into 2 feet. Okay, I'm going to go to the opposite side of the mat so I can broadly be seen and see you. So you might want to go to the opposite side, or you might not worry and you just be facing away a little bit here. So hands back together, opposite knee above the hip as you lift the knee, step back. From here, pivot down to get your heel down, arms out into warrior, and then just readjust as much as you need to. Yeah, you've got it. Okay, then palms to face the front, back arm comes to front arm, and pull the bow as you straighten that front leg. Relax the arms and back into warrior. Yeah, palms towards me, back arm to front arm, pull the bow, straighten the leg, and relax the arms, front knee bends. Palms towards me, back arm to front arm, pull the bow, straighten the front leg, and relax into warrior. One more time. Palms towards me, back arm to front arm, pull the bow, straighten the front leg, relax into warrior. Okay, pivot on your back foot, bring your arms down, let them kind of relaxed, and give you a little bit of support to push the back foot off, come up with the front knee, with the knee up just above the hip, hands back into prayer, and back onto both feet, a little bit of a shake out. Okay, we're nearly there. We're on the final movement. So just see how you feel before we get into that. So hopefully you feel fairly stable through the feet. You might feel some tone towards in the legs. You might have a little bit of a sense of what's going on in the center, which might be, again, a little bit of tone that's kind of just come through the whole of the movement in the last half hour. So we're going to do a much more gentle version of where we started. So we're going to sweep the arms up and come up onto the balls of our feet. And then we're going to come down with the arms, bring the heels back down to the ground, bend the knees, you know where we're going, and we just loosen through the shoulders, open up and extend. So it's much more of a flow and an easeful movement after what sometimes, if we're concentrating, trying to make sense of all that, what's going on with the eagle pose, just want to actually relax and let go a little bit now. So find your flow, bend your knees as much as you want to. It's nice to have just a sense of easy movement, but still a balance, and can be much more calming for the system. So this 1 + 1. Down, heels down. and relax. Okay, folks, Monday work done. Get on with the rest of your life now. Okay, hopefully stability's getting there, strength's getting there. So the bit about the smart strength is, you know, trying to work in a calm place or from a calm place, which is tricky with